Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone along here to the James Connolly Commemoration, the 27th annual James Connolly Commemoration here in Edinburgh. And to begin proceedings today, I'd like to ask everyone to give a round of applause to the singer Alan Hunter. How you doing?
As down a glen one Easter morn to a city fair rode I. There are mad lines o' marching men and squadrons pass me by. No fife that hum nor battle drum that sound let's rat-tat-too, but the Angelus bells o'er the leafy swell rang out in the foggy dew. Right proudly high over Dublin town they hung out the flag o' war. It was better to die neath an Irish sky than at Suvla or Slough-Alpar. And from the plains o' Royal Meath strong men came hurrying through, while Britannia's sons with their long-range guns sailed in through the foggy dew. 'Twas Britannia bad o'er wild geese know that small nations might be free, but their lonely graves are by Suvla's waves all ashore of the great North Sea. Oh, had they died by Pearse's side or fought wi' Calbrew, their names we would keep where the Fenians sleep in the shroud o' the foggy dew. But the bravest they fell, and the requiem bell rang mournfully and clear. All those who died that Easter tide in the springing of the year, and the world that gaze in deep amaze at fearless men but few, who bore the fight that freedom's light might shine in the foggy dew. Might have known that lorry's red, white and blue. Well, back down the glen I rode again, and my heart with grief was sore. But I parted then with valiant men, the likes of whom I'll see no more. But to and fro in me dreams I'll go, I'll kneel and I'll pray for you. For slavery fled, Donny Gallion dead, when you fell in the foggy dew.
Thanks very much, Alan. As I said, this is the 27th annual James Connolly Commemoration here in Edinburgh, and it's also this year significant, as we've said many times in the last few weeks at various events, that this is the 20th anniversary of the James Connolly Beat the Band March, where the Connolly Society took to the streets with the support of comrades for Glasgow, for England, for Ireland, for anti-fascists all over the city, and overturned the state ban on Republican parades in Edinburgh and on working class Irish community in Edinburgh coming out and commemorating Connolly. We overturned that ban 20 years ago this week. And it's important because I recognise a lot of the faces here are people who were part of that struggle, In particular, I would like to mention Davy Lamb, who again has done a fantastic job with helping organise this here today. And as I say, we've had a lot of events the last few weeks to commemorate the 20th anniversary, and I'm not going to say too much about all of that today. But it's important, I think, that one of the aspects of that struggle that is less reported or less spoken about because the focus is on the state nature of the ban, the struggle with the cops or the council and the political parties and establishment in this city. But there was another struggle going on the streets and behind the scenes between the Connolly Society and far-right groups. And it should be remembered this week, where we've seen the presence of the Scottish Defence League of the Scottish Parliament, or the Illinois Nazis as we call them, that 20 years ago, and in 91, 92, 93, 94, right through the 90s, the Connolly March was the focus and the rallying point for far-right groups throughout Britain. The largest turnouts of far-right organisations were to try and stop the James Connolly March in that period, and they've never been able to mobilise numbers like that on the streets since because they were defeated by the Connolly Society. Malcolm X said that racism's like a Cadillac, there's a new model comes along every year. And what he meant by that was that, well, Cadillac or other car makers might bring out new models and superficially they seem different. On the surface, they seem new. But actually, they're still the same old car produced by Cadillac. And racism is just the same. So racism 20 years ago, in 1993, directed at the Connolly Society and the Irish community, is different from the racism in 2013 that's directed at the Muslim community. But only superficially, because under the surface, it's still racism and it's still produced by capitalism. And the Irish community in Scotland understands that better than most. The French Marxist philosopher Etienne Balibar often says that Muslims in France are oppressed twice. Once because of their immigrants and twice because of their religion. And we, I think, can all see that in the discourse that's going on either with the UK state through policies of immigration control or benefits or just the rhetoric of politicians. We can see it by what the cops say and how they behave towards immigrant communities, and we can see it with the SDL and the Illinois Nazis as well. But it also resonates with us because it's exactly the same double oppression that the Irish community faced when they came to Scotland. So for Republicans, it's absolutely crucial that we recognise the danger of the far right, but we also recognise that racism in this country isn't just about the Illinois Nazis and 20 or 30 of them standing outside Parliament. If you want to see racism, look at people in uniforms. If you want to find the people responsible for racism, look inside the parliaments, not the people standing outside. So the Connolly Society is totally committed to tackling the far right. We have done it before, we'll do it again. And we're also committed to winning the battle against racists in our communities every day of the week. We need to make sure that Irish Republicans in Scotland position ourselves on the side of the oppressed and the marginalised and the discriminated against. That we make our campaign for an Irish Republic relevant to working class people in Scotland as well. And now, before I introduce today's speaker, I'd like to ask Alan Hunter to come and sing another song. Thanks, Al.
A song about one of James Connolly's comrades, Mr. Plunkett. As we gather in this chapel here in Kilmainham jail, I think upon these last few weeks. Or will they say we failed since our childhood? They have taught us we must yearn for liberty. But all I want in this dark place is to have you here with me. Oh, Grace, just hold me in your arms and let the moment linger. They take me out at dawn and I will die. With all me love, place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, so we must say goodbye. Oh, Grace, me love, I know it's hard for you to understand the love I bear for these brave men, my love for the steer land. But when Patrick called me to his side down in the GPO, I had to leave me own sick bed. To him I had to go. Oh, Grace, just hold me in your arms and let the moment linger. They take me out at dawn and I will die. When I'll be low, I'll place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, so we must say goodbye. Well, at last the dawn is breaking and me heart is breaking too. As I walk out this May morning, my thoughts will be with you. And I'll write the words upon the wall so everyone will know. I love so much, all I could see was blood upon the rose. Oh, Grace, just hold me in your arms and let the moment linger. They take me out at dawn and I will die. But all me love, I'll place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, we must say goodbye. I love so much, all I could see was blood upon the road.
Excellent, Alan. Thank you very much. I'd now like to introduce today's speaker. The Connolly Society has got a proud tradition of having different speakers addressing this commemoration. We've had speakers for the Basque Country, Palestine, for various political organisations in Scotland, Ireland, prisoners groups, refugees groups. We've had a whole numerous list of campaigners that have been relevant at the time with different commemorations speaking. James Connolly told us that the tree of capitalism is watered on the tears of the working class. And I think in 2013, there's no greater example of that truth. No single policy better speaks to that truth than the bedroom tax, or the hated bedroom tax. And it's very important, I think, that Republicans, while focusing naturally enough on struggle for freedom and self-determination, that we also recognise the daily struggles of the working class and the absolute horror of Tory party policies and right-wing austerity measures adopted by Tories, but also supported in various ways by either the Labour Party refusing to say they'll repeal it, or the SNP in the Scottish Parliament refusing to introduce the necessary legislation to make sure there'll be no evictions in Scotland. So I'd now like to introduce a speaker for the Edinburgh and Lothians Anti-Bedroom Tax Federation, Eileen Cook, who's going to say a few words.
Hello, yes, I am more specifically from the East Edinburgh group. The East Edinburgh Anti-Cuts group was set up 2 years ago to oppose the privatisation of council services. We're a loose group of lots of people, community activists, union members. We've worked very well together. We have grown and we have developed what we've been looking at, and what of course we're campaigning on at the moment is the bedroom tax. Quite early on we saw how insidious this was, how it was aimed at effectively extracting money from the weakest people in society. We petitioned the Edinburgh Council to actually take a position against the bedroom tax. They have actually done this, but at the moment they're not putting everything behind it that they could do. They haven't made sufficient funds available to cover for those people who will lose out as a result of this. Well, it's a tax, it's a cut in benefit, but effectively it's a tax. So at the moment we're really urging them to actually, put their money where their hearts are and actually make sure that nobody is actually forced into a position of having to pay this extra money, very often for rooms that they're used. They're rooms that their kids use when they come to visit them. They're rooms that they need because one of their kids needs more space because of a disability. There's usually a very good reason why people have what the government would like to call a spare bedroom. So we're pushing at the moment at that level for the council to actually cover for people who have been stuck with having to pay this, to make sure they don't have to pay it, to certainly make sure there are no evictions following it. There will be at the end, on the last Saturday of June, there will be a big meeting in Meadowbank, which is actually put on by the STUC. We'd love to see everybody there, as well as at all the other events that are on all the time. I'm sure if you actually search through Facebook and any other social media, you'll find plenty of activities. There's many local groups. We leaflet, we petition. Yeah, there's different groups in Edinburgh. That's why we have to have a federation for Edinburgh and Lothians to bring us all together so that we all know what we're doing. So look for us, join your local group. If you're not sure about exactly what it means, there's plenty of information out there about it. So actually do look it up. The next thing that we hopefully will win this one, and the next thing that we're actually going to have to fight against, of course, is the dreaded universal benefit when that comes in. Starts to come in later in the year. So again, that will be something, another really nasty attack on the working class. I'm sure James Connolly would have been there.
Mulgrew, another veteran who beat the band march 20 years ago, who played an absolutely crucial role during that period. So, and if any other wreaths could be laid now as well, please. Thanks very much for that. Right, before we finish off with a song for Alan, I'd just like to, we've spent a lot of time in the last few weeks looking back away, but it is important to remember that the focus is on the future. And in the next 12 months, before we gather for what will be the 28th Connolly Commemoration, before we gather for that, we will of course be a whole year further on in the Scottish referendum campaign. I know that fills everyone with dread, but it is important, I think, to remember that the Connolly Society, since our inception, has supported the idea of a Scottish Republic. We have supported the break-up of the state since we were founded, and that remains our position. Now, it's important, I think, in our community, in the Irish community, this is a contentious issue for a whole load of historical reasons, and there continues to be attempts by the British Labour Party to spread fear and misinformation in our community about the nature of the break-up of the state and the possibilities that independence poses. The James Connolly Society is committed to playing a leading role arguing for a yes vote. We're absolutely committed to the idea of breaking up the state. We do not, as I have said 100 times, and it's worth repeating, we do not support the SNP. We do not believe their vision of Dominion status is what we want. We want to go much further, but this is a step in the right direction. This opens up new vistas for Republicans, new possibilities for the working class, and we believe is an opportunity that should not be missed. But more than that, as Irish Republicans in Scotland, this is of great strategic importance to us. The campaign in Ireland for an all-Ireland referendum is gaining momentum every passing week. People can see that the idea of a border poll in the 6 counties, a planters poll in the occupied 6 counties, is not going to deliver a republic. It is not going to deliver a reunification. What is required is democracy in Ireland. What is required is one Ireland, one vote, and the people of the island deciding their future without outside interference or impediment. The James Connolly Society and the 1916 societies are committed to campaigning with a bottom-up approach to gain that democratic referendum for the Irish people. In Scotland, our task in the next year is to largely try our best to ignore what the SNP are saying, to ignore what the No campaign are saying, and to make sure at every opportunity that we make the case for constitutional change, because it's about the nature of the UK state. It's about breaking the state and delivering democracy for the people of Ireland, the people of Scotland, Wales, and the people of England. So the campaign for an all-Ireland referendum has to come to Scotland. So we'll be appealing for people to get involved in that campaign. Let's make the campaign for a yes vote in Scotland also a campaign for British withdrawal from the island. Let's make it a campaign for the end of the UK state and freedom for the people of Ireland and the people of Scotland. And then let's move on to deliver the Workers' Republic that Connolly strove for. I'd now like to finish off by thanking everyone for coming along here, thanking the Connolly Society members for all their hard work over the last few weeks with all the different events we've had. And if I could ask Alan, who has supported the Connolly Society for decades. So I'd like to ask him to come up and finish off with a song.
Make me feel old, Jim. In Dublin City in 1913, the boss was rich and the poor were slaves, with the women working and children starving. Then on came Larkin like a mighty wave. The bossman cringed while the worker pondered. 70 hours was the weekly chore. He'd ask for little and less was granted. If given little, he would ask for more. In the month of August, the bossman told us no union man for him could work. We stood by Larkin and told the bossman we'd fight or starve, but we wouldn't shirk. 8 months we fought and 8 months we starved. We stood by Larkin through thick and thin, but foodless homes and the crying children, it broke our hearts, we couldn't win. Then Larkin left us, we felt defeated. The night was black for the working man. Then on came Connolly with new hope and counsel. His motto was, we would rise again. In Dublin City in 1916, the English soldiers, they burned our town. They shot our leaders and shelled our buildings. The harp was buried neath the bloody crown. They shot McDermott and Pearson Plunkett. They shot MacDonagh and Clark the Brave. From bleak Kilmainham they took their bodies to Arbor Hill on a quick-line grave. But last of all of the 7 heroes, I'll sing the praises of Connolly. The voice of justice, the voice of reason, he gave his life that we might be free. Yeah. Jackie Lawa.